I took the job because it sounded easy and because I needed money fast. There was no interview in the usual sense. No background checks beyond the basics. No long explanations. The building management company told me I would be monitoring security cameras overnight in an apartment complex that was currently unoccupied. No tenants. No visitors. No staff on site. Just me, a small control room, and a set of rules that felt oddly specific for a place where nothing was supposed to happen. The building had been cleared months earlier due to structural issues. Renovations were planned, but delayed. Until then, they wanted a human presence. Not a guard walking the halls, but someone watching remotely from inside the building. Someone to make sure nothing changed. That wording stuck with me even then. Not to make sure nothing happens, but to make sure nothing changes. The first night was uneventful. The building was tall, older than it looked, with long, identical corridors and numbered floors that followed a strict pattern. Every floor from 1 to 12 was accounted for. The camera feeds were grainy but functional. Stairwells, hallways, entrances, and elevator interiors all streamed to a wall of monitors in the control room. The silence was the hardest part. An empty residential building doesn't sound like a normal empty space. It creaks, pipes expand and contract. Air moves through shafts in ways that feel intentional. Every noise feels closer when you're alone. My instructions were simple. Watch the feeds. Log any movement. Do not leave the control room unless there was an emergency. Do not investigate disturbances in person. If something appeared on camera, I was to record it and report it. Nothing more. I didn't understand the point of most of those rules until later. By the third night, I had settled into a routine. I brought coffee, listened to low music through one earbud, and let my eyes drift from screen to screen. The building never changed. Same lighting, same shadows, same empty halls. That consistency became reassuring. On the fourth night, I noticed something small that I almost dismissed. One of the hallway cameras showed a floor number plaque I didn't recognize. The feed was labeled as floor 7, but the plaque on the wall read 13. I assumed it was a glitch. Old buildings reuse parts. Maybe the plaque hadn't been updated. Still, it bothered me. I checked the building plans pinned to the wall. There was number 13th floor. Floors went from 12 directly to the roof access. I switched to another camera on the same floor. Same thing. Floor 13. I checked the elevator feed. The interior panel showed buttons from 1 to 12. No 13. I watched as the elevator completed. A cycle automatically, stopping at each floor as part of a system check. It never stopped at 13. When I switched back to the hallway feed, the plaque was normal again. Floor 7. I wrote it off as fatigue. The next night, it happened again. A different camera this time. Different hallway. Same plaque. Floor 13. The lighting on that floor looked slightly dimmer, colder. The shadows pulled differently, as if the corridor was deeper than the others. I checked the timestamp. The feed had been active for hours. No glitches. No interruptions. I felt a low, creeping unease, but still nothing concrete enough to report. I made a note in my personal log and moved on. Over the next week, the appearances became more frequent. Floor 13 showed up on different camera feeds, never staying in one place. It was always an existing floor, temporarily displaying a different identity. The architecture didn't change. Just the number and the atmosphere. There was something subtly wrong about that floor whenever it appeared. The air seemed heavier. The lights flickered less, but dimmer. The hallways felt longer, even though the camera angles were identical. One night I noticed movement. Just a door at the end of the hallway slowly swinging open. The door opened fully, then stopped. I waited. Nothing emerged. I reported the incident the next morning. The response I got was brief and unsettlingly calm. They thanked me for the report and told me to continue monitoring as usual. They did not ask questions. They did not ask for footage. They did not sound surprised. That was when I realized the job was not about preventing intruders. It was about watching something they already knew about. The next time floor 13 appeared, I felt it before I saw it. A pressure in my head, a tightening in my chest. The camera feed switched without me touching anything, settling on a hallway I recognized and didn't at the same time. The plaque read 13. The hallway lights buzzed faintly. I leaned closer to the screen, heart pounding, telling myself I was imagining it. And I saw the doors. Not wide, just enough to reveal darkness inside. The camera didn't show movement, but the stillness felt wrong. Too deliberate, like something waiting. I wanted to look away. Instead, I watched as one of the doors moved, slowly closing, not slamming, not creaking, just drifting shut as if guided by a careful hand. I checked the timestamp. The footage was live. I checked the other feeds. Every other floor was normal, empty, sealed. Only floor 13 was active. I remembered the rules then. Do not investigate. Do not leave the control room. I stayed seated, barely breathing, watching as another door closed, and another. When the last door shut, the hallway lights dimmed further, and the camera feed distorted slightly. The plaque on the wall flickered, then changed. It no longer read 13. It displayed no number at all. The screen went black. When it came back, the feed showed floor 6. Normal. Identical to every other floor. No open doors. No darkness at the end of the hall. I didn't sleep that day. The next night, I arrived early. I needed answers, or at least confirmation that I wasn't losing my mind. I reviewed the archived footage. Every instance of floor 13 had been overwritten, replaced with normal feeds, time-stamped, verified, clean. Except for one thing. The logs showed that during each appearance, the system registered an extra active camera, a camera that wasn't on the list. It didn't have a location label, just a designation, F13C. I watched that feed. It showed a hallway I had never seen before. Narrower, older. The walls were stained and uneven. The lights barely worked. At the end of the corridor was a door, different from the apartment doors, taller, solid, unnumbered. The feed was motionless. I stared at it until my eyes burned. Then the door moved. Not opening, breathing. That's the only way I can describe it. The surface of the door suddenly expanding and contracting as if something behind it was alive and pressed close. The feed cut out immediately. I stood up, shaking. Every instinct told me to leave, to quit, to never come back. But another part of me understood something terrible. If I left, no one would be watching. That night was the last one I worked there. Around 4 a.m., every camera feed switched at once, all showing the same hallway. The same unnumbered floor, the same door. The pressure in my chest became unbearable. The lights in the control room flickered. I felt like I was standing too close to something enormous and patient. The door on the screen slowly began to open. I shut down the system. I don't know if that was the right choice. I don't know what would have happened if I had kept watching. I only know that when the building management called me later that day, they didn't ask why I quit. They only asked if I had seen the door open. I still dream about that hallway. About a place inside a building that shouldn't exist, appearing only when someone is there to observe it, waiting to be acknowledged. Because once it is, it doesn't like being left alone again.